Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Mr. Fivestar, aka Tony Klapper, because I'm actually Mr. Fivestar. Sometimes I'm Tony Klapper. You know how it goes. Clapback Kid, Chatham Up Champion, and you're tuning into a 5-star feed. We took a week off, but now we're back and better than ever. As always, I'm joined with your crazy Uncle Fish. Fish Lee, what's good?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. And below me, we have the originator, the sophisticated one, Ryan Robinson, the grounded one.
Grounded.
Ooh, that's burning you. Yeah, it is burning. Ooh, how's my internet, Tony? How's my internet?
Perfect. Looks good.
Beautiful.
Huh?
You get to see all the sun rays and everything.
Oh, we're shining
Megabytes is
like
crazy.
a diamond, bright like a diamond.
Oof.
We also have the fabulous Fee Soleil here to slay. What up, Fee?
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Good to be here as well.
Cool. Man, today's a really dope Wednesday because Ryan's got something going on. We don't know what he got him some new. Oh, you got some new stuff. Okay. As promised,
Okay.
with 5-star Con coming up, we
Subtle.
told you guys we were going to have some really dope special guests coming on to the show,
Mhm.
right? Some people that are going to be at 5-star Comic Con June 20th and 21st. And we are very excited to introduce you to AJ Ampadu. What is good, AJ? Bring him in, Fish Lee. Let's go, my man.
Hey, what's up? Peace. How's it going?
It is going.
Hey.
Where you at right now?
So I am right outside Madison Square Garden,
Nice.
getting ready for the Buffalo Sabres to play the New York Rangers. Go Sabres.
Nice. Go Sabres. Okay.
Love it.
I love that. The background looks really cool, man. You look really official, man. You look like you did.
Yeah, man. I got my Sabres drip on, my Buffalo versus everybody t-shirt on, you know what I mean? So
All right.
we're outside. We're outside today.
Love
That's
that. Love
awesome,
that.
man.
All right.
AJ, what we're gonna do, man, just in case there's anybody on here who don't know who you are, anybody tuning in, watching, why don't we start with you just explaining who you are, what you do, and we'll start with that.
Yes, sir. So my name is AJ Ampadu, and I am a comic book creator. I'm a writer, producer, publisher. I have my own imprint called Earthstone Kingdom. I also have been writing for Valiant's Alien books for the last couple of years.
Fire, man.
Awesome.
I'm
You
not
got a lot
jealous.
going on, a lot of stuff in the kitchen.
That's awesome.
So currently, you're running you just finished a Kickstarter, and we're gonna have Fishley, if you could bring that Kickstarter up. The Kickstarter just finished. Let's get that on the screen.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
we just finished a Kickstarter for a new
out.
comic we created called Silent Count. And this is a comic book about two high school quarterbacks who are fighting for the top quarterback spot. And one of them happens to be nonverbal, so he uses ASL, American Sign Language, to communicate, hence the double entendre of the title, Silent Count.
Okay.
I
Okay.
worked on this comic with writer Anthony Stokes, artist Gabriel Fonseca, and colorist Alessandro Ruggiero. Sorry if I butchered their names.
Okay. So you're at the Sabres game. You got this book coming out. I'm guessing you're a sports guy.
You know, I mean, my three biggest loves in life are comic books, hip hop, and football. And you know, I've always loved the competitive nature of sports, just because to me athletes are the closest we have to superheroes. You know, when you watch the Olympics, you're seeing people do things that are most like 99% of people couldn't do. So essentially they're basically superhuman. When you looked at Captain America's abilities, they always said that he was peak human. Like he was like peak strength, peak speed, peak agility, and things like that, which makes them essentially superhuman just by being peak human. So I look at athletes as peak human people. So to me, they're almost superhuman. And this particular story, Silent Count, as you scroll through the panels, you can see we got a beautiful art team working on this. And I played football in high school. So I wanted to do a comic book that was about football and kind of dealt with the competitive nature of the sport, but also just what happens when someone has to find a different way of communicating. I've always been fascinated with American Sign Language and things like that. So finding a cross section between those two concepts to make a sports comic was something that was super important to me. So I linked up with my friend Anthony Stokes, and we came up with a story. And I really enjoyed working on this comic. So this is the first of 4 issues. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries that will be compiled in a graphic novel.
Okay.
Now, as you're getting down, you're starting to see some of my other books here. That is my Space Cowboy comic, Kimmy Cosmic. I'm sorry if it's windy, guys. This is my Space Cowboy comic, Kimmy Cosmic. She's a space cowboy who has to unravel the mystery of her half-alien heritage to face off against an evil corporation. This book is my top seller. It's my most popular book. We're on issue 8 right now. We're working on issue 8 right now. So we have a couple different volumes of that. Everything you see here, you can find on my website, earthtoneking.com. But also, if you go to this Kickstarter right now, you can get a bundle where you can get all the books together in one bundle if you're interested. This is a novel that we published. This is the first novel that I put out under Earth Tone Kingdom. It's called Humans, Our Automatons. It's about a group of kid humans who are alive in a world full of machines. So that is a novel that is retro-futuristic because there are illustrations peppered throughout. In addition, a lot of the characters speak in computer code, so it's an introduction to readers to the world of computer coding. So, like I said, as I expand myself as a writer and a publisher, I'm also publishing other books. So this book was written by one of my partners, Anwar Morse, and he's also a computer engineer. So the text and everything like that is very authentic. A lot of the illustrations are really cool. Once again, if you go to the website Earthstone King, you can see the illustrations that are within the book and things of that nature.
Okay.
And I think the next one we have here, okay, this is my other comic called Drone Slayer X. And essentially this is an Afrofuturistic sci-fi comic. It's about the world's greatest robotics engineer. His daughter has to learn how to use her father's technology to face off against a group of revolutionaries who want to steal it to liberate the African people. And this is kind of like a cross section between like the movie Blood Diamonds meets like Iron Man or something like that. So we just finished the first issue of that. This series is going to expand into multiple issues, and we're continually working on that series as well. And I think I have one more here as you scroll down. And this is Dragonface. So Dragonface is kind of like my high concept horror story. It's about the rich and powerful 1% are a group of dark sorcerers whose magic is powered by the suffering of humanity. And a young detective has to unravel the mystery to start killing them off one by one to liberate humanity from darkness. This book is printed on unfinished paper with a washed out color palette to give it like an 80s horror aesthetic.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, you're just looking at the cover here, but if you open that one up, you can see that it has a very retro horror illustrated style. This would be my second most popular book next to Kimmy Cosmic, and this was actually the book that got me the job at Valiant to start writing Shadow Man and Ninjak. So I'm really proud of Dragonface. What I'm doing right now is I'm expanding both Kimmy Cosmic and Dragonface into their own comic book universes. So there's going to be spin-offs. I'm working with other writers to write other titles that cross over into those titles. This is Ninjak versus Roku. This is the first comic book I wrote for Valiant. So for some, I'm sure your listeners are well informed, but just in case they don't know what the Valiant comic book universe is, it's the 3rd longest running superhero universe next to Marvel and DC. They have an array of characters. They've been around since the 90s. They only had one movie that was Bloodshot with Vin Diesel that came out in 2020. Kind of got buried by the pandemic. But they've been around since the 90s. When I was a kid, as a teenager, they were like my favorite comic book universe. I actually liked Valiant more than I liked Marvel and DC. They're just not as popular, but they also have a great cast of characters, one of them being Ninjak and Roku. Ninjak is basically like Batman meets 007. So super cool. Roku is an undead assassin, so it's kind of like Elektra from Daredevil a little bit in that nature. So it's almost like they're two lovers who get the same mission. Will they clear the mission or kill each other first? So you can kind of think of it as like Mr. and Mrs. Smith with ninjas. That was a 4-issue series that we got to do. That was the first series I wrote for Valiant. I had a great time writing that. And then after that, I was able to write Shadow Man. I don't think I have a Shadow Man thumbnail in the Kickstarter there. Yeah, that just goes to the creator section. So yeah, so now I'm working on Shadow Man right now for Valiant, and that's the current book that I'm working on now. So yeah, that was a
Man,
lot. That
That's
was like
all right.
a
No,
fire
yeah.
hose of information. So proceed to ask me any questions or anything you
Yeah.
guys want to talk about.
I want to hit on silent count really quick because it's funny that you like your inspiration behind it. I really dig it because actually when I was in high school, we had a on our JV team, we had a quarterback who had like Tourette, like stuttering problem. He'd get
Okay,
real
okay,
nervous and he'd stutter.
okay.
So in order for him to still play that position because he was good, they had to figure out a different way for him to 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 say hike because
Oh
they couldn't
wow.
have him
Okay.
doing that. So it's just cool to see this because I've actually like in real experience had seen somebody kind of go through
Mhm.
this.
That's
And
amazing.
they at
That's
one point
amazing.
when they ran shotgun, they'd have to have the running back call hike.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's pretty cool to see this concept in a book, and I like with the
Mhm.
panels how this feels still like a superhero comic book, but it's a game of football, and that
That
I
you
think
know,
that's really cool.
that's exactly what I was saying earlier. To me, athletes are essentially kind of superheroes, super heroic. They have the same kind of hero's journey. You have the villain, which is the opposite team. And it's. Thank you for sharing that story. That's incredibly relatable. So yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
my question for you is how do you handle all of the like dialogue in the book? Is it all hand signals and we have to decipher it, or what are you doing there for that?
That's a great question. And I think you'll have to read the book to get the perfect answer. Sometimes we translate it right then and there. Sometimes we
Mhm.
don't because we want the person to not know what he's saying.
Hmm.
Mm,
So sometimes it depends on what the scene asks for. If it's a situation where we want there to be a lapse in communication, then we'll intentionally not
Oh, dude, you just gave me
translate the hand sign.
goosebumps, man. I
The-
I dig that take on it so much because I've
Thank
got
you.
yeah.
one of the main characters in my book, Green Zone, is deaf, and so she communicates with sign language. So half of the gang that she works for communicates in sign language, and the cops think it's this magical hand signals that they've got. Nobody's even bothered to figure out she's just talking in ASL
That's interesting.
because
Yeah.
they don't pay attention. But
Yeah. So
it's
you know
kind of
another
fun with her because she's got 4 arms, so I can show more dialogue at one time.
she
But
can have multiple conversations at the same time. Yeah, I mean, a couple things about ASL. When I had my first son 4 years ago, I don't know what baby book my wife got, but it was essentially sign language for infants.
Mhm.
And we started before they can talk, they can make signs. So
mhm.
we taught him, signs for like milk and all these different. I was doing sign language with my like 2 year old, right?
Oh yeah,
Mm,
And that was he still remembers those signals and still remembers those
Oh,
signs, right? Now he's
wow.
4 years old, right? So
Mhm.
I just think that normalizing sign language for people who are verbal is really interesting too. Because yeah, why not be able to sign language to something? I mean, to someone else, it's
Absolutely.
extremely useful. Like
oh
especially
it
if you want to
is.
like signal to somebody that you're close to something and not want somebody else to know. It's very
yeah.
useful. I don't know if you guys saw the Oscars, but Ryan Coogler's his wife is
Hmm.
like a ASL interpreter, and
Mhm.
he was signing his like to Michael B. Jordan and stuff like that throughout the Oscars. And a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't even realize that he was actually sending, talking to them, saying "I love you" and "thank you" and stuff like
Mhm.
that to like Michael B. Jordan and stuff like that when they were on stage. So yeah, normalizing ASL for people who, I think everyone should be able to learn it. And I don't personally know it, but my wife and I have always talked about trying to learn it and get more familiar with it. So yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Oh, I know very little myself from having worked with some deaf people over the years. I've
Mhm.
learned very enough to just barely get by, but it's become very handy for me personally because I have a pretty severe case of Tourette syndrome, which a lot of times for me ends up meaning that a lot of times like my jaw will lock shut and I can't speak. So things like thank you have become really handy for me.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised how many people can recognize it now, but a lot more like waiters and stuff in restaurants and stuff are understanding what I'm saying, and that's nice to see.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That's
man,
great.
that's dope. That's
It's a
dope.
really cool thing to incorporate ASL and just any other type of ways. Like just even like when you said with coding, like just learning hexadecimal and things like that, and just all these different types of things that get them integrated into these things that really are great building skills, but should just be something that everyone should know. So I think that's really incredible. So kudos to you. That's
Oh,
awesome.
thank you so much. I mean, comics are more than just entertainment to me.
Absolutely.
There's so, it's life. It's life. So we want to
Mhm.
reflect all the aspects
Mhm.
of life. Even in my other comic, Drone Slayer X, the main character, she's physically disabled as well, and
Mm.
that is something that she has to overcome using
Mhm.
really her own courage and her own force of will, but also technology is an aspect of that as well. So yeah, I try to
Mhm.
incorporate all different types of people who have different types of you know lifestyles and different walks of life and everything I write.
AJ,
Dope.
what was your foray into
Mhm.
comics? What got you into comics?
Whew. So my origin story, back in the olden days, because I don't know how old you guys think I am, but I'm probably older than you guys think.
Back
Um,
in the before
my
Whoa,
time.
whoa, 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 whoa.
my brother, he served in the military, and one day he would come home and he would bring gifts, and he brought back a comic book, and it was like the third or fourth part of the Dark Phoenix saga for
Okay,
Uncanny
that's a
X-Men,
good
and
start.
it's the issue where Wolverine, like the Hellfire Club, has captured all of the X-Men, and Wolverine has to cut his way through the Hellfire Club to free
Nice.
Cyclops and Jean and everything. And at this point, they don't know that Jean Grey is harboring the Dark Phoenix, so it's pretty crazy. They should have left her captured. But anyway, it was like this was the issue that Wolverine became Wolverine, because up until that point he was just an X-Man, and this was kind of a solo Wolverine issue where he just got to slice up a bunch of fools, and he kept saying bub and everything like that. And I'm reading this and my brain is scrambled. I was like, what is this? I had
Yeah.
never seen anything like it before. And ironically, my son, who was just born 4 months ago, his name is Logan. And I call him bub all the
Nice.
time, so you can see that it's stayed with me even
Yeah.
all these years
Oh, I
later.
love that so
But
much.
yeah, so that was my introduction into comic books as a
Okay.
call, and I never looked back. And back growing up in Buffalo, uh, going to the comic book store is my favorite thing to do in the world. So as I started getting familiar with Marvel and DC, and this was like a great time to read comics. So we're talking about the early '90s. So we're
Yeah.
talking about Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee, and this is when all of these guys are peaking, right? And
Mhm.
also we're coming off of like the late '80s, which I kind of feel like is the best era of comics. That's kind of that's what I base my comic book writing off of, is late '80s comics. So that's when you had Alan Moore doing Watchmen and Swamp Thing and
Yes,
all of that gritty, Neil Gaiman doing Sandman and
and
stuff like
then
that. And I'll be
mhm.
completely honest, and people have already pointed this out. Neil Gaiman's Sandman is clearly a huge inspiration for the Tales of Shadow Man that we're currently doing in Valiant. I'm not even going to pretend like it isn't, because there are a lot of similarities. It's inspired by
Yeah.
by Sandman. So that gritty, grimy type of comic book stuff. Going into like Ed the Criminal and uh, 1,000 bullets or 100 bullets. Like, I love crime comics, I love horror comics, I love dark fantasy, like monstrous. Anything like that is my like go-to now with comics, and that is just kind of like shaped who I am. And so I draw inspiration not only from those types of comics, but also from film and from nature and from music, that all pours into everything I write. And when you read it, you can kind of see the inspiration there.
I'm curious to know what is, if you had to pick your top five comics, your top five comics of all
Right now,
time.
or of all time.
Of all time, your top five comics of all time.
So my
What
top
would
five
be?
is probably, I'm gonna have to just like spitball this, and this will probably
Yeah,
change.
sure, sure, sure,
The, the,
sure.
the,
Oh
these are
yeah.
probably just the comics that changed me the most. It's
Yeah,
not the top five best comics.
yeah,
It's
no,
not
no,
the. It's
yeah,
just the top
your
five comics that
personal, yeah,
when I read them, they kind of changed who I am. Right. So I think we could just say classic Chris Claremont X-Men, like that whole era of X-Men. So many people that brought them into comics. You can ask so
mm,
many people, and especially black people, especially, we see so much similarities between us and with the mutant struggle and
mhm,
everything like that. And there's been parallels between Professor X and Martin Luther King and Magneto and Malcolm X and stuff like that. So I just feel like comic book nerds are always gonna just say X-Men, just because it's the freaking X-Men, right? Um, then I'll say I already mentioned Alan Moore. I'll say Swamp Thing probably was even more important to me than Watchmen. I don't know. Watchmen was no. I rewind that. Watchmen. Alan Moore's Watchmen. I know it's cliche to say, but it's to me everything that's happening now with mature superhero comics, like The Boys, is just chasing what Watchmen already did back in the '80s. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like Watchmen was the first comic book to take superheroes seriously and make them mature and give them like the Night Owl, he had erectile dysfunction. Like that was like who that ever had thought about to actually give real life issues to superheroes. You know what I mean? So I think Watchmen was groundbreaking. All right, so X-Men, Watchmen. Um, I would say that a comic that just really was beautiful to me, and I really enjoyed it was Why the Last Man. That comic book was really really like amazing to me. Like there's other stuff even by Brian K. Vaughan that he's probably even done that's even better, but that story was really 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 moving to me. I really like Jeff Smith's Bone. Jeff Smith's Bone was like it was it, it was almost like if you took a Disney film and like made it like dark. Like it was such a it looks very cartoonish, but I just love like Kimmy Cosmic is largely inspired by Bone. And if I had to land the fifth one, I want to say Scalped by Jason Aaron was really really awesome to me. I loved that comic. That comic was just I don't know if you've read Scalped, but it's like The Sopranos on an Indian reservation. Like it's just a hard-nosed crime comic. I love the setting. I love the culture in it. Once again, those are not the five best comics of all time. Those are just five comics that when I read them, I was really, 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 really impressed and moved by them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for anyway. Something that you feel like had that impact on you as a writer and creator. So let's talk about your journey. You start with doing your own book. Let's start with if you had any advice that you give to anybody who's doing indie comics now. What advice would you give? What advice would you share with them?
So I love this question. I have two phrases I would say. Phrase number one: finish the book. Phrase number two is think big but act small. So let's start with the first one. Finish the book. Every creative has a million ideas. They have a million things. They have a million stories. Yeah. You really need to focus on one and just get it done, especially if you're at the beginning of your creative career. Amateurs tend to spread themselves very thin because they're trying to do a million things at once.
I'm gonna be the next Marvel, though. You don't understand. I'm gonna do it all by myself,
and I know that
because creatives over decades.
That is, I think that's the right attitude to have at the beginning, because you may be, or you may grow into that. So it's the right attitude to have, but. You got to just finish. You just got to finish one project. I know people who have been chasing the dragon for like a decade and they still haven't put anything out yet.
Yeah.
So focus on one idea that you think is the most marketable, and just finish the script. Just finish writing it. And the other thing I said is think big but act small. If you have this idea for like a volume, manga, okay, that's great. But how about we just finish one issue? How about we just finish, like, do a 4-page story, do an 8-page story, do a 22-page story. Okay, now you have a comic book. Now multiply that by 4. Okay, now you have a graphic novel. Like, just start small. Like, just try to take the baby steps. Don't try to do the big book first. Don't try to do the big idea first. Don't try to write the 3, hour trilogy movie. Just write the 20-minute short film. With the with that one your favorite scene from that movie, that screenplay idea you have, just write that first 20-minute scene and see if you can produce that. See if you can get a Kickstarter.
Issue 300 if you don't do issue 1. You gotta get one done.
Considering that you said your 3 loves is sports, comics, and hip hop. When it comes to the characters you create, are there any hip hop artist influences that kind of come out in your characters, and what are your top type of influences in that way, especially considering that you're in Madison Square Garden?
So there's hip hop Easter eggs in all my comics, and a lot of them are super obvious, a lot of them aren't. There's characters who I'm writing right now in Kimmy Cosmic that literally I sent over a certain rapper to my artist, and I'm like, make this alien look like this rapper.
Nice.
And in Kimmy Cosmic there's a bunch of space pirates, so I kind of feel like, oh yeah, a lot of these rappers have like styles that Yeah, if I took
Mm,
Lil Wayne and I made his skin blue, that would be a cool space pirate. Like
yeah.
it's so there's a lot of that going on behind the scenes with me and my artists.
Yeah.
Um, there's another character. Like most of my protagonists just are like closet hip hop fans, right? So there'll be a character in Kimmy's mother. She's an astronaut, but she's also an old school hip hop fan. So she has this belt that says "So Dope" on it, and Kimmy has that belt, right? So it's just little things like that. Like in Tales of the Shadow Man, Alyssa Miles, one of the detectives that is discovering the mystery of Shadow Man, she's a hip hop head. So she listens to Nas. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Mm,
little stuff like that. She might quote Nas once,
Nice.
just out of all it's just little things like that where I'll find a way to slip in some type of reference to a hip hop artist or my favorite. Did you say what are my favorite hip hop artists? Did you
Yes,
ask
I
that
did.
question? Oh, okay. I mean, right now it's really hard for me to not go with Kendrick.
Yeah.
Dot is my guy. Jay-Z's always been my favorite. Jay-Z and Nas have always been my one and two. I'm going to see the Jay-Z. I'm going to two of the Jay-Z shows. Crazy.
okay.
No, the nosebleeds were even crazy. So I had to go on the scalp sites. Let's not even get talk. Let's not even start that discussion. But
Fair enough.
so Kendrick, Nas, Jay-Z are probably my top three. Obviously, I'm from upstate New York, so the Griselda. If you guys don't know about the Griselda hip hop crew, I'm
Okay.
from around the same area where those guys are from. So Benny the Butcher, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, those guys.
Mm,
But I mean, most people's top 10 are probably, I'm gonna probably share most people's top 10. From Lil Wayne to KRS One to Lupe Fiasco to of course I even like J Cole and those type of guys. We could talk about hip hop extensively. I also used to rap. I had a whole hip hop career too, so I made a lot of music. Shout out my guys who are still rapping. Shout out Homeboy Sandman. Shout out Mega Ran. Those are my guys, and
mm,
they
yeah.
do a lot of Mega Ran especially. He does a lot of hip hop, comic book inspired hip hop
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
as
I've heard
well.
of Mega Rain before.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I have
Yeah.
I have like a couple songs with Mega Ran, so
Okay.
yeah. So shouts to him. So yeah.
Awesome. No, it's great.
I love that, man. So you get the call. Walk us through the Valiant. How that came about. Like what are you doing? Where are you at? And what you're doing? And how does that unfold? Like, walk us through what
So
that looks like.
this is gonna be lead to another piece of advice. Um, in life and in dating and in life and in everything, always shoot your shot. At least
Yeah.
once. You
Hundred
can't shoot.
percent.
If you shoot it
Oh
too much,
yeah.
you can start to harass people. But at least shoot your shot once.
Yeah.
So I was at New York Comic Con. I was going to one panel, and then I was looking at it, and I was kind of too late to make it. And I looked at this panel, and it was about libraries. And being that some of my books are suitable for young ages, I was like, you know what? I should go to this panel because I want to see what's the segue from comics into libraries, right? So I go to this
Yeah.
panel. On this panel was Lisa Hawkins. Lisa Hawkins is the editor for Valiant Comics at the time.
Okay.
So she was talking on the panel, and she was talking about how, like, when she works with writers, sometimes it bothered her that they wouldn't do the research of what she wanted to hire them for or whatnot.
Mm,
And I was like, that's interesting. So as soon as the panel ends, I'm notorious for bum rushing panels. So here's another piece of advice: if you go to panels at comic book conventions and you really want to speak to the people who are sitting on the panel, make sure you ask a really good question and make sure you go up to them after the panel. Like, don't be shy. This is your moment
Mm-hmm.
to be as vocal and as I guess this is an opportunity for you to have a 5-minute meeting with
yeah.
a famous person. That's the way you should look
Mm,
at it,
mm,
right? So what are you gonna do with that 5 minutes, right? The bigger they are, the less time you're gonna have with them.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, going back to shooting my shot, as soon as she said that she worked at Valiant, and being that I already was a fan of Valiant Comics, I immediately approached her after the panel and I was like, hey, listen, I'm a writer. I'm a huge fan of Valiant Comics. I would love to pitch something for you. And she told me, all right, pitch this character named Divinity. And if you're a fan of Valiant Comics, Divinity is kind of like their Dr. Manhattan.
mm,
He's kind of
Hmm.
like their, who else can I compare him to? I can't even compare him to a Superman. He's more like he's a godlike
Mm-hmm.
character, right? And he's a really, really interesting character. And I was like, Divinity, oh, of course, I would love to pitch a high concept sci-fi story to you. So I took a week. I sent her the best pitch I possibly could send her, and she loved it. She thought it was great,
Nice.
and she was like, "All right, this guy's clearly passionate, but I don't know him from a hole in the wall. He doesn't have a resume. He doesn't have any mainstream comic work. Can I really trust him?" So she did her due diligence and she put me through the ringer. She made me revise it a bunch of times. We would go back and forth about character changes, and she essentially was vetting me through this process to see if I was actually capable of holding down this gig. And I didn't get it. Um, I think something happened where there was a bunch of changes with Valiant at the time, and I think they went in a different direction, and I never got the opportunity to write. So I was like, okay, that's cool, that's fine. Every L gets you closer to a W. That's
Yeah.
another, I got a lot of mottos, right? So I appreciate L's. I always love give me as many L's as possible because that just builds me up. It gives me fuel. It gives me motivation. So after that, I just dovetailed back into my indie stuff and started writing more the Shadow Man, or I'm sorry, the Dragon Face stuff and the Kimi Cosmic stuff. 2 years later, I think she sends me an email and she was like, "Hey, we're looking for a new writer to write some new stuff." Once again, she still wanted to vet me, so she was like, "Hey, why don't you do an 8-page Ninjak story for this Valentine's special?" I did that. She liked it. Then she's like, "All right, let's do Ninjak versus Roku." That was a 4-issue series. We did that. She loved it. Then it was Shadow Man, and kind of the rest was history. I did Shadow Man. I
Awesome.
did the Resurgence storyline for them. Now I'm on Tales of Shadow Man, and some of the fans in the Reddit have just let me know that I am now the longest writer. I've written the most issues of Shadow Man of any Valiant writer.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. That's what you love. Thank you, I appreciate it. That's what you love about the internet, because the internet will find stats and they'll figure stuff
It'll
out that
keep
you're
the
not even
record.
thinking
Yeah,
about.
it keeps the
Yeah.
So
record.
yeah, they got the receipts, they pulled the receipts, and then
That's right.
also the first black writer to write Shadow Man too. So very happy to have this opportunity. And once again, I'm rambling. I had a lot of coffee, so shut me up at any point to
Knights of G
interject.
All
says she's
right.
been trying to get you to write more of Dragon Face.
Knights of G. Okay, so that's the homie Lauren. What's up, Lauren? How you doing?
She is the
Um,
best.
she's the best. We were just talking about how awesome you are and how you be putting BTA to us to make us to whip us into shape. But yes, Dragon Face. Dragon Face is the horror book that I wrote, and I did BlurredCon in March, and I almost sold out. And the amount of people who came to me and said, "Oh my God, this is my favorite book that you've written. This is crazy." I realized that we need to do more Dragon Face, and I want to do it bigger and better. So I'm expanding Dragon Face into multiple series. So it's going to be, I don't want to call it a superhero universe because it's just a character universe that we're going to expand. So yes, we are going to be doing more Dragon Face
I'm
and
just
more
so
Kimmy
mad.
Cosmic
I'm just so
coming
mad that I
soon.
didn't even see you at BlurCon because I was at BlurCon.
Oh,
What's
you're
going
at
on?
BlurCon? Okay. I mean, I was in the back room on Independence Hall. I mean,
So was I.
BlurCon is
So was
okay,
I.
okay, okay. All right. I'm sure we
But
saw
wait
each
a
other.
minute,
I'm
he
sure we
was
saw
that
each
guy at
other.
the table next to you. That's
So
who.
you was actually, but you and
Oh, what?
It's funny.
what's it? You
I do have a question for you. I have another question for you. Does anybody else have a question? I've been asking a few questions. I got another one though, but
I'm
I
just
want to make
jealous.
sure.
That's
I'll
all.
go on
Like, I
after that.
mean,
You go ahead.
I
I'll
don't.
let you go first.
I am the only person I know in that's working in indie comics that isn't really that interested in working for the big two. But Valiant, man, would I have jumped at the chance to do some Shadow Man or
Cause,
Exo Man of War
cause
or
they feel like an indie. They feel like an indie at
Yeah.
posing as a major. I mean, you mentioned EXO, so we're dropping an anthology later this year called EXO Manowar, White, Black, and Gold, and
Yeah.
I got to do an 8-page story in that anthology,
Nice.
and I was so excited about writing that because my favorite thing to write is dialogue, and I especially love accents. So if you read Shadow Man, there's about 3 or 4 different types of Creole, New Orleans, African accents. When you read Ninjak and Roku, you have 2 different British accents going back between Ninjak and Roku. When I and so I really really love it. So when I did Exo Manowar, I had to dig deep into the Visigoth accent and how Visigoths talk and everything like that. So I do a lot of uh, accent studying. I pull up people's YouTube channels from different dialects and different places of the world and different time periods just to try to catch inflections and just try to catch different words. So you can see that peppered throughout everything I write.
Nice.
I love that. I love that you do your homework. Fee, go ahead with your question. You had a
Sure.
question.
More on the linguistics and the kind of accessibility side. Could we be expecting different languages? So, of course, I mean, you're in the Big Apple, where it's a great, epicenter of just various languages and things like that. What is the first language that comes to mind if you were to do a bilingual or even trilingual type of comic book?
Wow. Congratulations on giving me a question I've never even pondered before. That is interesting. If I wanted to do a bilingual,
silent count.
yeah. I guess silent count would count because ASL is a language. I would say the first thing that comes to mind is Spanish.
Mm.
I know a touch of Spanish,
Okay.
and aside from the touch of Spanish that I know, I feel like just doing something that's deep rooted in like Afro Latino culture. I mean, I don't even know what the story is, but that's the first thing that comes to mind when you ask that question is doing something that has to do with Afro Latino culture and having a character that speaks Spanish. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I would love to do something that employed African languages. My father is from Ghana, so I would love to. No, I'm not gonna say I know Chewy because you gonna have me out here sounding crazy, and I'm gonna get my
I was about to
Ghanaian.
like two Ghanaian families. I was born on a Friday, so that's the only reason I was like, oh,
Okay. Nice. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So what that means your name is your
Afia, but I go by
Afia.
Fee.
Okay. Oh, Fee. Okay. That's what. Okay. Now I'm putting it together. Yes. All right. Yeah, we gotta go back. We gotta go back to the motherland one day together.
That's right.
But yeah, no. So, yeah, quick answer is Spanish. Spanish is where I will go.
Cool. We want to respect your time. We know you got a game that you're gonna be watching. Really quick, for those who are watching or you're watching later, if you want to meet AJ, you want to get some stuff signed, you want to come hang out with AJ, you can catch him at Fivestar Comic Con. We're gonna have him on some panels there, so he'll be able to answer questions that you might have.
I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast. I'm excited.
We are definitely excited to have you there. So June 20th and 21st, make sure you cop the ticket. That way you can come and be part of the experience because it's gonna be fun. Yeah, man. We're gonna probably continue the show, but we know, like I said, we want to respect your time. So we appreciate you. If anything that you want to say, shout out before you go.
Shout out Nice to G. She just said she's gonna bring it up later. She's gonna clown me. Shout out to all my creative partners who I'm working on my books with. Shout out the team at Valiant Alien Books. Guys, please, we're in the age of pre-orders. Pre-orders are everything for mainstream comics, and it costs you nothing. And I just found out that you can pre-order a comic and not buy it. So like just pre-ordering it doesn't mean you're obligated to buy the comic from your local comic store. So just pre-ordering a lot of books, especially with a lot of us Black creators who are working in mainstream. There is this whole thing with Milestone recently with the Milestone issue and stuff like that. So I'm working on Tales of Shadow Man.
Gotcha.
Just calling up your local comic store, pre-ordering some issues of Tales of Shadow Man, that goes a long way. Also stopping by my website earthtoneking.com and checking out some of my books that I've just talked about. We ship everywhere, so show us love. And also on the Kickstarter is over, but I encourage you to the late pledges are still available. In addition, this is the first of 4 issues, so there will be more. So just follow me on Kickstarter so you can be up to date on the next campaign. And guys, your questions were amazing. You guys, this podcast is where it's at. I cannot wait to be at the con. I'm gonna have a blast.
It's gonna be
All
great.
right,
So
man.
much fun, dude.
Appreciate you, man. It was good having you on. We can't wait to see you in person.
All right, guys, go Sabres!
Go Sabres.
All right, man.
Go local sports team.
There you have it, AJ. What a dope guest that was.
It's like I could almost feel the temperature in New York. It felt nice. Like it was a little chilly, but the sun was nice. I could feel it,
I'm sitting here shivering with my jacket on, just hearing that wind blowing.
I love New York, man. To be back in Madison Square Garden.
Sleepy.
I am sleepy. I'm extremely tired. Extremely.
Honestly, that sun is helping me though. Whatever you did with your Wi-Fi, it is working.
What is it? What is it? What happened?
Got that new Wi-Fi? What you get? Upgrade?
What?
Right. You want to show off some stuff you had in the beginning, so apparently you flexing.
I don't know what happened.
Like,
Something happened.
he cashed out at BlurCon, came back and upgraded.
Right.
Got some tax returns in.
Right.
Oh, there ain't no tax return here, brother. Ain't no
Right.
taxes.
Yeah, we've been doing taxes too. Oh, that's not fun.
No, it is not. Real quick before we head out, I just want to say one thing. As fans of what we're fans of this, you know, we're eating right now, y'all. We got Invincible out right now. The Boys just dropped tonight. Daredevil season 2's out.
Maul just dropped.
Come on now. We are
living.
Oh
yeah, Project Hail Mary's out still too, guys.
Okay, now I went to go see that opening weekend because of you, and even my wife was floored with it. She loved it so much coming out of that, and she's like,
amazing.
Movies. And I was like, yeah, it's a space movie, but Ryan really, really loves it. And she's like, okay, if Ryan loves it, I'll give it a chance. And it was so freaking good.
That's good.
And to see how much of that they did practically, I mean, even the glowing particles in space was practical in camera shooting is freaking amazing.
Love it.
Oh, it was so good.
And also, speaking of space, I mean, we have people who are outside on their way back home right now as we speak. How amazing that they are the Voyagers that went the furthest in history with that. How cool is that? And just how they told us, just like they said, astronaut Glover said, we look beautiful from up there. Isn't that so nice? That is the quote of the century. If you're having a rough day, just know from where they saw it, how beautiful that was. I thought
if you get far enough away, I'm pretty. That's what I'm hearing.
Stop it. Uncle, you just had to take it away. Take away all the sentiment. Took it all away.
Is anybody watching Daredevil season 2 right now?
Of course I am.
I started it, but I'm not caught up with it. No.
Okay.
Of course. There's 4 episodes, Fish. We can't give you anything because I'll spoil the hell out of it. So.
One of y'all DM me your Disney Plus password. I want to see Maul.
Okay. Somebody hook Fee up.
I like how you spoke first and you're like, yeah, you guys take care of that.
Somebody hook Fee up in the comment. Hook her up.
Should have.
I'm just gonna say that Daredevil season 2 right now is
listen, look, and listen,
listen.
The fact that that's the one positive thing we're having right now. There's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of things that are being paid for that shouldn't even be going on right now. And I agree with that, but it's not. But that's still a step in the right direction. So let's be mindful of that. The fact that they went up, they're coming back safely and everything. I just take that for a win for what it is, you know.
You talking about Artemis?
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Daredevil.
Well,
no, because I was looking at the comics and Freestyle was going crazy talking about, don't give him credit for a flyby. I'm not going up in no ship.
You ain't getting my fat butt in space. I ain't going nowhere. I can't get up and walk if I
think it was Mr. Watson who.
I know exactly who it was. Who else is coming behind Freestyle like that?
Let me tell you, we got some of the best shots in the world of the moon right now.
Come on.
But I don't know if this was the best time for, financially, for our economy to be rocking up to the moon at this point in time.
Well, but the majority of that money was probably already
I'd rather
spent.
they do that than the other thing we're doing.
But I'm really happy that they did because I like space.
Oh yeah,
me too.
It's a step forward for humanity as a whole.
Yeah, and this could be possibly going back to the moon, building moon bases like Independence Day 2. I mean, we'll see.
But yeah, I'm like, I would rather go towards that than what else the other things are, because this just.
But if y'all watched a show called For All Mankind, if you watch For All Mankind on Apple TV,
World Watson is
you are out of pocket right now,
going crazy. Come on, Epic,
and it's gas with one S.
Epic.
Nah, he wanted to make
sure
your
jets, man.
Yes,
cool your jets, man.
Daredevil feels like Netflix. Feels like Netflix Daredevil
right now. They are
really happy.
It feels like Netflix. It feels grounded in a great way.
Grounded.
It feels,
The way
it
you
feels
say
like
it's
something
just,
that
it's
should be
coming
gritty
from a
and grounded,
personal
and it
place.
is.
It feels real.
And if you're a Bullseye fan,
It's coming from a personable place. like you're
Bullseye's a
saying.
problem in that show.
and so is Mr. Fisk. So is
Vanessa.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's
It's
good.
real
It's
good.
good. It's good.
Really, really good.
In other news,
Not
It
a
is-
bunch of what in the world, Freestyle? What did you get a sugar high on something and all of a sudden just have this? What is this animosity coming from?
here it is.
Somebody
We'll
let
get
him
you with
get
it so
in
far.
the
Let's see
candy
what it
cabinet.
is. Let's see what it is.
He's buzzing.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna say, go to fivestarcomiccon.com and pick up your ticket.
I feel like you say his name enough times, it's gonna show up. It's like it's just.
He can't
bound
pop
to
in. I don't know if he can pop in here like he used to pop
Oh
in.
right, it is different, but he'll find a way.
Yeah.
Oh,
He'll
I
find a
forgot.
way.
He can't just do that. I would have sent him a link.
I know,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying. If there's anything that will happen, a way will be found.
Right. Fivestarcomiccon.com. Pick up your tickets because it's going down. We have hella indie creators that are going to be there. We have some
Indeed.
dope celebrity guests. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited. You're excited. They're excited. We're also, hey, if you're like, man, funds are tight, guess what? We're on Groupon now. So you can go to Groupon. Get your tickets. Go to
Hey.
Groupon.
Okay,
Did you-
Groupon.
Groupon reached out.
Did you say Groupon?
Groupon. Reached out.
Woo! Get your croutons, get your croutons here.
Yes. If you're in the Dayton area, just know that you're gonna be seeing my face a whole lot. Because I'm gonna be out there. I got stuff planned almost every weekend leading up to the con. So
I mean, the
No,
con
he's still
is
at work. I sent him a link.
the con is only 2.5
73
months away.
days. 73 days.
73 days.
I'm counting every day.
I know.
I'm sure you are.
Very hype. It was a
'Cause
very
It
It's
puts me
middle-
in a mini panic every time I wake up and look at that number.
yikes.
Not in a panic in a bad way, just in a like,
But just
How
a
do
lot
you
of
say
stuff to
panic
do.
in a good way? Please use it in the form of a sentence of how you panic in a good way.
it's a happy panic.
Hey, I use anxiety attacks every day.
It's
to
it's
get
a
lots
panic
of
in a
work
way
done.
of don't fucking rest today because you can't. It's a panic in the fact of you only got so many days. Whatever you thought you were about to skip today, you can't.
Mhm.
That's the kind of panic.
Sounds like accountability and a lot
Yeah.
of other things.
That's
I like
that's
the
what
word
that is.
accountability.
That's
I like
a
accountability. I like that.
I use my anxiety to my
That's a-
benefit every single day. I just get up and think about that mortgage payment coming, and that puts the panic of God into me, and I get to work.
yeah. Well, guys, you're gonna be getting a lot more. Hopefully, the next weeks we're gonna be having some different guests on here, different people that are coming out from the con. We can talk 5-Star Con. We can talk about their journey and what they're bringing to 5-Star Con. So that'll be fun. We had like 2 holidays pass, I think, since the last time we were on, right? At least one.
So one passed and then another one. Well, yeah. I guess it was.
April Fools. Just kidding. That's a holiday.
I don't celebrate.
Just kidding.
I
Because
don't.
we
Alright,
were here after
I
not
don't know
Valentine's,
what that
excuse me,
is.
St.
What
Patrick's
is
Day,
that?
right?
It's you, bro. You're an April Fool.
That's in April. We're in the
That's
month of
wild.
April.
Yeah, we're in April.
Oh,
Yeah, the
I'm
clapback.
not
Kid's
feeling it.
birthday
No,
is this
okay.
weekend.
Pause. Are we
My
gonna
birthday this weekend.
really act like? So what was that you just showed us? So you got a desktop or something? Like you just showing the box? Like when you get a new box and stuff like that, you find it. So
He's just,
I don't got anything. I didn't get anything. I
he
don't.
ain't got nothing.
Oh, now,
I don't know what you have for me. What are you talking about?
man, I can read the choking hazard label on them action figures in the background behind you. You got
you are
something.
not.
Hey,
I'm
Gaslight me.
clear
I
now.
just know what I know. I saw what I needed to. I saw what
I have
needed
the
to see.
Night King in the background riding his little sweet little dragon. That's what I got.
We see that.
Got that night.
I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
Well, here's what I
gonna
gotta
lie
say,
to you.
guys.
I know what I saw.
Here's what I gotta say. Remember to be a 5-star version of yourself. Keep rocking, keep killing it. Be accountable. Get after it. Go to fivestarcomiccon.com. Get your tickets right now, if you can at least hang out with the four of us. Because why wouldn't you want to hang out with the four of us? You know?
That's
one of us is questionable.
And Ryan will look better in person, even though his Wi-Fi does look really good now.
It's true.
That's a compliment. I said you would look better in person.
Hey.
I didn't give you a compliment after you just gaslighted me. You could have at least said thank you.
Fish is driving 2 whole days away.
Oh yeah, I'm
2
driving
whole
like
days.
3 weeks to get there.
2 whole days.
Now.
But hey, you need to go get your tickets. The con is coming. It'll be here before we know it.
Yep.
It'll be here before we know it. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's all happening.
All right, guys.
It's going down. Woo.
Fishy fish.
What you doing?
That outro.
Why don't you moving the camera just to do